Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music blessing and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is November 12th, 2025. That is more than 5.5 years of Torah every single weekday morning, finding each other from everywhere we are, everywhere around the world, with friends from Westchester, New York, from Florida, from France, from all over. Debbie's in Colorado, Judy and Linda, Joyce, good to see you. Lara, nice to see you too. Pastor Jim, what a gift to see you after traveling to Israel with you and doing good work. Please God, we should do more here back in New York. Amy is in Iowa, good to see you. Penny, thank you for the reminder. It's broadcast 1424. Adrian, it's good to see you. Fabrice, you are on the French Riviera. What a gift to share Torah with you where you are. Arlene and Cecile, Jack is in Ohio. Karen is in Brooklyn, New York. Natalia and Jacqueline, good to see you. Susie, you're in Toronto. Nice to see you. Kate, you're in Yonkers. Camille Booker, Tove, Roberta, nice to see you. All right, that is a lot of sweetness on a screen this early in the morning. Lydia, so nice to see you too. And Amy is in Florham Park, New Jersey. That is the right last location to mention. Let's take a breath, sing a bracha, learn some Torah. Oh, well, we've got more. We've got Dobbs Ferry in New York, Raleigh, North Carolina, Fort Worth, Texas, and South Jersey, and Maryland. Gewalt, as they say. Amazing. Okay. Yai lai 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 lai. Diddy I lai lai lai. Diddy I lai 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 lai. I lai lai lai. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kiddushanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu La'asok B'divrei Torah La'asok B'divrei Torah Hafoch ba V'hafoch ba La'asok B'divrei Torah Diddy I lai 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 Hi lai 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 Diddy I lai 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 I la lai lai. Good morning, friends. Boker Tov. Really good to see all of you. Let's take a breath. We're going to sing. We're going to learn a little bit of Torah. There is a lot to say in Parshat Chayei Sarah, the section of Genesis where Sarah dies, and then the end of the Torah portion, Abraham dies, and in the middle of it, a lot happens. And I wanted to share what those bookends actually provoke. What is it when we lose a generation? I spoke to a dear friend yesterday who lost her aunt. And the way she said it to me was she was the last of that generation. And what an extraordinary and sad and hard thing it is to lose that generation, whatever that generation represents for you. I remember when my father lost his father, his language about losing his rock, that was his language, and how it was his turn to be the rock, and he didn't want it. Amy is sharing that her grandmother was the last of 10 siblings, and she passed yesterday. I'm so sorry, Amy. Thank you for sharing that. Sending you a lot of comfort. This generational transition isn't some textual thing to talk about. It's an emotional reality. And our tradition, the texts that we learn, share a huge amount of emotionality around this. Listen to this text. It's one of my favorites. It's strange. From Masechet Sota, from the Mishnah, so about 2,000 years ago, called Sota. And it talks about how a generation of rabbi dies and what goes with them. Again, the emotionality that they feel. When Rabbi Meir died, the composers of fables disappeared, says the text. When Ben Azai died, the tireless students of Torah disappeared. When Rabbi Akiva died, the glory of Torah disappeared. When Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa died, doers of deeds disappeared. When Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai died, the brilliance of wisdom disappeared. When Rabbi Yehuda died, humility and fear of sin disappeared. If you'd like to look that up, you can find it Mishnah Sota, chapter 9, Mishnah 15. It is so powerful to read this because Torah disappeared, fables disappeared, the brilliance of wisdom, humility disappeared. What is that saying? It's not saying that those things actually disappeared. It's saying like it feels like that disappeared. And I remember this very well. I shared this Mishnah the first time in response to a conversation I had with my father. My father had gone to rabbinical school at JTS in New York, where I went to. And I remember coming back after my first day of classes and calling him and saying, Abba, it's amazing. These are the people I'm studying with. I'm studying with really great teachers. My father said, you're studying with good teachers. I studied with the greats. And that is such an important framing for an emotional way of relating to your own story. These are the greats, and when they pass, greatness is gone. But it's important to remember what the next generation can be. You know, we could look at the world as some theologies do. There's a Jewish theology, not my personal ideology, called Yeridat Hadorot, the descent of the generations. And it suggests that the closer you are to Mount Sinai, the closer you are to direct revelation, the greater you are, which means later generations cannot possibly hope to be as great as the generations of the past. Every generation is one step lower because it is one step removed from the origin story. But the other way of looking at the world is we stand on the shoulders of giants because of the fables Rabbi Meir composed, because of the tireless learning of Torah that Ben Azai did, because of the brilliance of wisdom of Rabbi Yochanan. We have the ability to grow. So I want to share with you, with a little bit of humor, a beautiful text from the Talmud. Because the Talmud, which is a commentary on the Mishnah, doesn't feel so good about this. Doesn't feel so good about the idea that Torah and fables and wisdom disappear. So the Gemara says, this is, if you want to look for it, this is Gemara, the Talmud on Sota, on our Mishnah, page 49b. It was written about 200 years later, or edited then. Rabbi Joseph said to the one recounting this teaching, because in the ancient world, they didn't have books. They had human beings who had to remember everything that had been said perfectly. So, said to the Tana, the human recorder, as it were, when you're teaching this Mishnah, don't you dare say that humility disappeared, because Ika Ana, I am here. Now you hear the humor in this, right? This Rabbi Joseph, is saying, don't say that humility disappeared. I'm humble. You're supposed to laugh at that a little bit. But maybe it's also very serious. Maybe our capacity has not become diminished, including humility. Maybe we do have the essence of all of these great things. No matter how much time has passed, when we connect ourselves, when we link ourselves to the greatness that was achieved a generation ago, because otherwise we see ourselves in some inexorable descent. We see ourselves as incapable of reaching higher. That's not what our ancestors designed their greatness to achieve. The goal of a generation is not to contain all of the greatness. The goal of the generation and all of the work we do is so that our children can reach higher and succeed even more than we hope to. That is a truly sacred path. At the beginning of Parshat Chayei Sarah, Sarah dies, and light departs from the camp. That doesn't mean there will never be light again. The end of the Parsha makes clear that the light returned when Rivka entered that empty tent. We have the capacity to bring enormous light and good, to achieve what our ancestors hoped we would, because they gave us that chance. They got us this far. As Rosa asks so beautifully, if they passed on these teachings to us, not all is lost. Why would they bother? The reason that we receive and repeat and try to build on traditions from the past is because that's what they did too. How did they get so far? We build, as Adrian wrote, we build on what came before. Karen is remembering her father and her mother. We are called to stand on the shoulders of giants, sometimes in reaction to them, and sometimes with gratitude for the intention that they bequeathed us. Avram dies at the end of this parsha. But the Torah doesn't end there. Yitzchak surely doesn't have an easy life. Rivka surely doesn't have an easy life. But look at the gift that they gave their children too, to build and build and build. We have received so much, friends. The question is, what will we do with this enormous treasure in our hands? Will we remain humble? Will we reach for brilliance? Will we make sure to encode it so that the next generation can receive it and build and build and build? Yes, reverence for the past is also holy. But greatness doesn't only exist in the past. Greatness is in the present. What a gift it is to be the descendant that you are, to be the descendant that I am, to learn from great teachers, to know that our children will learn from great teachers, and their children will learn from great teachers who haven't yet been born. What a gift. What a gift. Let's take a breath. Sing some hope into the world. Send your hearts to the east, friends. Kolon balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends.